was actually born in London at the hospital here, but I was raised in Wallaceburg. I went to school in Wallaceburg, through public school, through high school in Wallaceburg, and I actually met everybody who's in the band during my high school years. But we didn't start the band until probably 2 years after high school, or a year and a half after high school. My name is Greg Wilford. I'm the lead singer and rhythm guitarist for the band Worst Case Ontario. I also write most of the songs for it. On drums we have Gerald Williams. On bass we have Aaron Moran. And we formerly on guitar had Jesse Duff, but he left the band and has since done his own solo project. When I was in university in London, I would commute from London to Wallaceburg on the weekends to play with the band. And now, this is about 3 years later, maybe 2.5 years later, we're all in London now. My drummer, Gerald, my bass player, Aaron, actually lives with me in an apartment in London. And we are trying to figure things out and trying to figure out where we're going to play now that we don't have a permanent jam space. And now that we have more of a venues that we can possibly play at, like restaurants and bars and whatnot. The songs we play are all original compositions. They're kind of like a grunge, sort of almost Western type mix of songs, and but they have a very particular Canadian feel to them, and kind of almost folksy charm to them because of the way that I sing and the way that the songs are written that I come up with.
Pretty late, man.
Right?
Yeah.
What are the time?
Sorry.
Yeah.
I wrote a new song, eh?
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Let me grab your
Deadly Cell.
grab your guitar.
Awesome.
Haven't thought about shows with the band yet. I have thought a little bit about playing at the London Music Club with my band if we ever were to start rehearsing again and playing and practicing again together. I would consider playing at the London Music Club to start out with, and perhaps a small bar later on. But we have to find out a place to rehearse our songs. Personally, I think I can just go to the London Music Club on open mic nights and play there, because they're very open and conducive to just individual players getting up with an acoustic guitar and playing. So that's something I could do to try out my skills and try out my songs for a different audience. And then once that's achieved, then I could see getting with the band and playing a bigger show. We've already recorded some songs that aren't to our liking because of the way that we recorded them. We recorded them with one mic, recording in the basement. And we did produce some audio files that we put on CD. They sound okay, but they're a live recording and they're not to the standards that perhaps we would like to see them be at. Practice times should be probably 3 or 4 hours, ideally. I don't think we've ever reached that mark ourselves. I think we usually go around 2 hours, maybe a little bit over 2 hours. And if you can fit it in, even if you're not going to do anything else in a week, or if you only got one shot at doing it, 1 hour is better than nothing. And it keeps the interest level engaged with the band. In the coming years, one challenge would be losing the people that are close to me. If they lose interest, that would be a problem. I find it challenging just getting the motivation to go out and do it because I haven't yet performed in front of a group of people by myself. It takes some willpower to do it, and we're all busy with school, of course, which cuts into it. If anyone wants to know what it feels like to be in a band, imagine that you have 3 close friends and yourself, and you're in high school, and you're walking down the hallway, but you also have something that's shared amongst you, a project that you're working on, that people recognize, like whether it's a movie that you're making, or you're good at basketball, or you're good at a sport. It's having something that the four of you share that other people recognize. It's a desire to be recognized. And when you can produce music, that's almost a universal recognition when you can produce music. And so being in a band is like being with your 4 best friends and being recognized, all of you, for one thing that you've shared together. And that's what it feels like. My drummer, Gerald Williams, is best musically speaking because he can play the drums, he can riff on the guitar. He's better at guitar than he is at drums, and yet his drumming is superior, I would say, because the drum is a less popular instrument. His skill level for the drums is really high, but I think he's put more hours into guitar playing because he can riff on the guitar. Like he can, yeah, it's great to see. And he can write songs. He can write songs too.
That's Brad here.
Aaron's our lovable bass player. our bass player, who working class guy, works very hard at his job, And then he likes to relax, and sometimes when he relaxes, he likes to play music with us. And yeah, I'm just gonna drink. I would say to other bands, whoever's out there, if they're struggling with the initial challenges of getting the interest level built up, of getting their music the way they want it and before they play for somebody, of the challenge before they go out and play, just keep plugging away, putting those hours away in practice, because practice is what makes you better. And it's that 10,000 hours of practice that makes a professional musician. You might not want to be a professional musician, but at least be an amateur musician and get those hours plugged in.
Guys, it's awful.